Most women who tell me they want to move to Italy have never lived there in February. Now, let me soften that a little bit. I don't mean that sarcastically, I mean that practically. Because Italy is magical in April, May, and June, a little bit hot in July and August, but Italy in October is divine. Italy in February, in a medieval stone village, that's a different story. Let me tell you what Italy was like in my village. The buildings are stone, they're thick, they're beautiful, they're historic, but they hold cold like you would not believe. You don't just turn on your heat and feel warm in an hour. Sometimes it takes days for the walls to stop radiating the cold. My heating bill one year was as much as my rent. And it wasn't even like it was warm. Nobody posts that. Nobody is filming themselves arguing with the utility company trying to get automatic payments set up and connected to your bank account. And if you don't speak Italian well enough, good luck. Here's another statement that I want you to hear clearly. Vacation Italy and infrastructure Italy are not the same country. When I had heart surgery in Rome, my surgeon was extraordinary, truly. But in Rome, there was no toilet paper at the hospital, bathroom, no soap, no towels, no coffee, plastic silverware, no private room. If someone wasn't bringing you the necessities, you didn't have them. No shampoo. Now, I was fine. I knew what I was walking into. But would the average 68-year-old American woman be comfortable in that situation? That's a real question. Let me ask you something. If you had to call an ambulance tomorrow in Italy and you didn't know what number to dial, would you know what number to dial? Do you know how to explain your symptoms in Italian? Do you know how to describe your address clearly enough that they can find you? I do. And I still had dispatchers who were irritated by my accent, even though I'm fluent in Italian. So when influencers are laughing about how easy it is, I just think, easy compared to what? They haven't had these personal experiences. Most women don't want to immigrate. They want to feel alive. That's different. When I talk to women privately, they don't really want to give up their homes in the U.S. They don't want to untangle Medicare. They don't want to sell their assets. They don't want to permanently sever their foundation. What they want is rhythm. They want spring in Italy. They want fall in Italy. They want to come home when it's cold or terribly hot with non-functioning air conditioning. They want immersion without exile. That's wisdom, not weakness. Now let's talk about the language barrier. Yes, I speak Italian fluently, dangerously fluently, I'd like to say. I dream in Italian. That took over 15 years. But here's what no one tells you. Understanding what you want to say is one thing. Understanding what Italians are actually saying to you at full speed, culturally layered, emotionally nuanced, is something entirely different. I sit at tables sometimes and listen to English-speaking expats retell a story they understood. And I know they missed half of it. Not because they're stupid, but because the language is deep. And when you don't fully grasp it, an observer of culture, not fully inside it, that doesn't make the experience bad, but it does make it different than what's being sold online. Here's another idea to share. Romance without structure eventually becomes burden. I'm not telling anyone not to move. I moved. I lived it full time for over 16 years, more like 18 years. I overstayed visas. I fought the Questora. I went back to the US to legalize it properly. I rebuilt. I integrated. I got citizenship, permesso di soggiorno elettiva residenza. I raised a child there. I survived an earthquake. I did it, and I loved it. But I also learned this. Design matters more than desire. When I left in 2022, I was heartbroken. Truly. It felt like the greatest love of my life was broken. But my daughters needed me. My granddaughter was growing up, and I realized something profound. Sustainability is not the same thing as intensity. Sustainability is not the same thing as intensity. Now I spend 5 months a year there, and it works, and it's designed. It's not fantasy. So before anyone sells their home and moves tomorrow, here are the questions I would ask, and you may not like them. Have you lived there 30 days straight? Have you been there in the winter? Do you understand the 172-day tax trigger? Do you understand what happens if you need long-term medical care? Do you understand how hard it is to reintegrate back into the U.S. real estate market once you leave? If those questions irritate you, that tells me you're still in fantasy mode, and that's okay. But now, what mode are you in? Have you had a little bit more of an understanding of some of the considerations? Italy is extraordinary. It changed my life. But the version that sustains most senior women is not permanent relocation. It's structured immersion. It's rhythm. It's community with support. It's culture with a safety net. And when it's designed well, it's the most beautiful chapter of your life without burning down the rest of it. Many women from the Senior Women Travel Club, a private group on Facebook, we talk about these things. We share these things. We really get to the bottom. What is it you really, really want? What is this fantasy? Visibility versus invisibility, the food, the culture. And together as a tribe, we've found that balance, and we travel together regularly, even doing trips over and over again. We travel together because we found what we really wanted. So if this speaks to you, Senior Women Travel Club, private group on Facebook, come and join us. There's 25 of us, 1,000 there. We have great discussions and great education. Bye.